Hey everybody, this is Captain Furrowed reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy.
Captain Frugal, telling the truth. Strumming chords, uncovering groove. Comic panels, game reviews. Rocking riffs and six-string blues. What's the verdict is it rad? Did it crash? Is it bad?
Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old school yard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Welcome back everybody to the weekly comic book review, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Let's take us to the virtual comic shop, shall we, where we go in there and have our discussion. First, we're going to talk about the Incredible Hulk issue number 27 with 164 ratings and a 4.3 score. Very positive score, and I gave the book a 9 because, yeah, I don't usually give them that high. But pretty good there. Writer Philip Kennedy Johnson, penciler Kev Walker. And I will say up front, this is sort of it's a continuing story, but this is a one, you could read just this one and it has enough in it with a beginning and an ending to read this issue on its own. All on its own there. Hulk has finally found the solitude he wanted. No more enemies, no companions, not even Banner. Well, because he's got Banner in trouble there. But deep in the Appalachian Mountains, when his peace is interrupted by a young boy in danger, Hulk wonders if Charlie was right about him. Could he be a hero again after all? Meanwhile, one of Hulk's newfound allies is taken, hinting at an unseen threat that's emerging. Yeah. Now, this issue does have a cool cover. I like the standard cover. It has some alternate covers that, they're not very good for the open order covers. It does have an incentive cover that's a throwback to a classic, which is nice, but the standard cover, I think, for this one's very good. Marvel could have done better with some of the art panels. There's a couple panels here that doesn't look good from the perspective of what's going on with the boy and Hulk. In this issue, Hulk struggles with his past mistakes, and the art and the story do a very good job showing the reader how the Hulk is feeling. It is a great emotional issue, really, it is. Many people forget, I recall, that the Hulk can see ghosts. A lot of people forget these other powers that the Hulk has. And I don't want to give any more of that to spoil it, but it does give me a reminder of a movie, a classic movie. But really, this is a great issue of Hulk. If you're a Hulk fan, you should like this issue. If you're not, and maybe just wanting to check something out, I would recommend it too. I'm looking at the reviews. The reviews are, everything I'm seeing here are really good for the people there. The lowest one I seen is 3.5 stars, which says we're all monsters. Oh no, I did find a 1.5 star review. It says we're at issue 27 and still absolutely nothing is happening. I will agree there, the story isn't necessarily moving forward very fast, but this one, as I said, is a very well self-contained issue with a story that you could read and enjoy. So I think that's a good, fair criticism there. Which shift into The Thing, number 3, with 149 ratings, 3.9 score, mostly positive, and I gave the book a 7.9. The writer is, for this one, Tony Fleece, and artist is Justin Mason. The same schmuck who made Ben Grimm's childhood miserable has dragged him into this conspiracy situation here, but who's been abducting these kids? Well, we're going to get more information on that as Ben Grimm tries to rescue the kids when New York's strongest criminals are competing to turn him into rubble. Yes, Fisk has put a bounty on him to take him down. You know, Thing has had a few series for himself, and they've always been, I don't know, hit and miss in certain sections. I think this is a character that I know he does great in a team setting, but it probably could do more of these, at least more often, of these single stories with just the thing. Decent art in this issue. There's fun action and banter in it as well. It really is a fun story, and I think the fans would enjoy this. And the Juggernaut is coming next. Looking at the other reviews, most of them seem pretty good. I did see a 3-star one here, a little lower, so let's check that one out. I wish this book was doing more, with this issue being the least character focused yet. But it delivers on Ben punching a bunch of bad guys in fun ways. Hey, I think he needs some clobbering time once in a while. 3.5 star just says fun. Another one, fun issue that flew by, just Ben laying beatdowns. That's a 3.5 star. Here's a 4-star. Biggest thing the movie missed on was a more New York accent on this fella. Oh, okay, so they're actually talking about on how it impacted how the movie was compared to the character. Otherwise, all the reviews are really pretty much right on, so there isn't many arguments or disagreements in that regard. Let's jump to the Ultimate number 14 with 743 ratings, 4.2 score, very positive. And I gave this a 7.4. So not as high as they did. The writer is Den's Camp, artist is Juan Fergari, and the Ultimates, we get this book, we get Ultimate Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, because the Ultimates are on another mission. Yeah, we got the version of Hawkeye and Captain America. And what happens? Well, we get some pushback, and we find out how the Hellfire Club really has a lot to do with all this. So we get an Ultimate White Queen as well, the Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch versions of them as well. There's decent art, and I will say though, in this issue, Cap shows how his battle smarts and his battle tactics really are impressive. And he might be outclassed by speed or strength and things like that, but it shows what makes him valuable. It really is a decent issue, but in my opinion, not great. Let's look at some other people's views here on League of Comics Geeks. We have a 4-star that says this issue had a lot of sarcastic comedy that was missing from the previous. Unfortunately, the real-time storytelling continues to be a bit of a stinker, as more plot points are set up than can be followed up before the end game. And I agree, because this series is got an end game coming here. It's not unlimited. It's going to be canceled and ended. We know that already. On top of that, the main writer of it, I believe, is possibly leaving the book. Oh, wait, maybe not. I don't know. I could be. No, I think I'm wrong on that one. But ultimately, I'm looking here. Ultimately, get that. A lot of good scores here with it. So I'm looking for something as a balance. Here we go. Here is a 4-star review. Prison is okay when the Ultimates do it right. Okay. Hawkeye, PMO. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. A lot in this issue. I can't lie. Cap was right to be a little mad. Yes, he should be mad because he told Hawkeye to wait, and Hawkeye went in anyway. And at this point, it says we've been doing this for 9 months. They should know. And that's true. Listen to Cap. They should know better. Don't just rush in. It could be a trap. Some interesting, albeit obvious, stuff happens in this issue. I think it can lead to some really cool stories. The art was great in this, though. Fergari is amazing. So I'm looking for something that really would run drastically counter to it, and it looks like about the lowest one I'm seeing right here that somebody took time to write is a 3-star review. It says, it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but at some point too many characters being introduced isn't something I want to keep reading every month, and some of them literally took the same look the same as their 616 version. Yeah, it does seem like they're just trying to popping in new characters, maybe to keep it exciting and keep it fresh. But I do think it's showing the world of what it is like here. Steve and Hawkeye, while knowing this issue, we have Wanda and Pietro are fine. I didn't care for the rest of it at all. Okay, fair enough. I will say there is an issue where we see the bad guys sort of show how bad they are and take out certain people, but we didn't really get to know those characters that were taken out, so there was no investment into them in the first place. This says this third arc has been all over the place so far. Hopefully to build up to issue number 18 is worth it. Yeah, it's going to have a lot with all the stuff they're introducing to pack into a short period of time. I don't know if it can do it without seeming like it was overly rushed. Now let's move to the Ultimate Spider-Man number 19 with 1,016 ratings, a 4.4 score, and I gave it a 7.4 as well. So not the highest, not as high as they did. Rather, Jonathan Hickman, which he for sure I know is leaving shortly, and artist is Macho Cicchetto. And anyway, he says we get a three-way dance all-out war. Fisk versus Mr. Negative versus Mysterio with Spider-Man and his allies caught in the middle. Yes, will the Sinister Six destroy New York before they destroy each other? Peter gets offered some help in this issue from the Mole Man. But he doesn't really want to take it, and I can understand why. But he does report and provide him with information about the Kingpin and what's going on. There is a little bit of story progression here. It's a decent issue. It's moving a little slow. But let's look at what some other people said. Here's a 5-star review. It says, another month, another banger issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. Let's get into it. First and foremost, the book looks great. As always, Cicchetto and Williams brought it here. While it's not really an action issue, the bit we do get is dynamic, high energy, and chaotic. We love to see it. With that said, I'm going to jump to a different review here. See if I can find something that's a little bit... Wow, a lot of 4.5-star reviews, 4s, and some 5s. I'm having a real hard time. Okay, here we go. I found a 3-star review. It says, yeah, the first 3 quarters of this issue are solid continuation of the previous issue. It moves things forward well. Mole Man being my favorite part of this issue, too. However, this issue just falls apart the moment it gets to the family drama. I do not like how Peter or MJ are written here. This relationship just felt so forced in these last pages. Well, just so you know, Mary Jane is sort of at her wit's end. You could tell she's struggling with this. And, I have no problem with this. This has sort of been thrust upon her. And she mentions, she's taken all this well, but she wants to be told and kept up to date on everything. I think that makes sense, to be fair. And now back to the review. It says, we are over a year and a half in, and Peter just cannot trust his wife. You know what? That's a good point. But I feel that he feels the more he tells her, the more danger he puts her in. So that's just another view in my take on it. Also, it says, they have no chemistry in this issue. Just felt so flat. So they can't have some big argument or conflict with each other without it being wrapped up in 2 or 3 pages. Okay, I could see that. Maybe they could have drug it on a little bit, but I think it was handled well enough. Overall, this month has not been a bad month for the comic book reading for me. I'm actually a little bit surprised of some of the books. And hopefully, maybe next week it can continue and build up to be even better. Well, thank you everybody for watching my review and helping with this channel. I greatly appreciate it. Things, I will kid you not, have been absolutely crazy in my life, and it's gonna probably be that way, I'm guessing, until at least in the end of the year, and maybe more. I've got things on all ends. Family things, job things, all that, business things. With my business, everything is going a little crazy right now, and to be able to sit down and read a comic book and relax and talk to you about it is my getaway, my relaxation. Hey, let's do this and just have fun and discuss this stuff with you in the chat. So thank you, and thank these people too for helping support the channel. Until next time, keep it